Hello, everyone. I see that you made it. I'm your host, Shady Davey D. LaFleur. Welcome to this all new edition of the Lair of LaFleur. Thank you for being here this week. This is indeed part of the true scene right here on YouTube, often imitated, never duplicated. And yes, I'm back after adding the newest member of the family. And thank you all for the love and support, all the comments. It really is overwhelming. It means a lot. So thank each and every one of you all. It really is appreciated. Now, this week I'm doing things a little bit different. This episode is all about the flat earth topic, the scene, the shields that are involved, what is really going on the true scene. This is part of the true scene, and thank you all for being part of it. Now, I need you guys to do me a huge favor before we get right to this disclaimer. Hit that like button, share, comment, subscribe. All that stuff really will help the channel grow. Thank you. As I slap you at this right here, now this is part of the show where I tell you to grab all your survivor gear, your rations, your flashlights, the batteries, and the bottled water because you need to be prepared when you enter the lair of LaFleur. But remember, this is only my opinion. You do the research, you be the judge. Don't let confirmation bias box you in, and this is only for your entertainment purposes. But first, I gotta give it over to the ghost of the lair with this week's episode.
Welcome to the lair. Parental advisory is recommended. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Enjoy the show.
Earth, throughout its life, even when it formed, it was spinning, and it got a little wider at the equator than it does at the poles. So it's not actually a sphere, it's oblate, and officially it's an oblate spheroid. That's what we call it. But not only that, it's slightly wider below the equator than above the equator.
A little chubbier.
A little chubbier.
Yeah.
Chubby's a good way. It's like pear-shaped.
So this begs the question right here. Who is really telling the truth? Who do you think is telling the truth? Is it the so-called government scientists with their prestige at whatever school? Are they the ones telling the truth? Or do you think it's the NASA scientists? Are they the ones telling the truth? And why are they different? Do you believe in what NASA says? Or do you believe in what these scientists say? They say it's an oblate spheroid, a pear shape, an egg. Is that the case? Or is it what NASA says? When they show us these images of these perfectly round balls in space, these so-called planets, these magical worlds that you will never see, only through the imagination of CGI, this is all made for you to believe, basically. So, I asked the question. Which one is telling the truth? Neither one of them. Alright, let's start the show off with this shield that you see on your screen. This image that you see on your screen is from Journism, his channel. Now, bring this up because when I started off with this shield, I featured him in the Shield of the Month back when I was doing that thing. And yep, there's certain individuals, controlled psyop, with these controlled rollouts of people, these shields that were in place about a decade ago. Once you realize that you don't live on a ball, they have a place for you to go and search these people. A lot of them promote an AE map. There's another group of Flat Earth shields, this Flat Earth Society, if you will, this revamp, rededication of these people, this rising crust Earth, if you believe that narrative. Or this guy right here that sold an AE map for the longest. Yeah, he might be into balls again, a globetard. But the fact of the matter is, this guy scammed us for a decade. And everything that we was taught about these balls in space from NASA in your governmental school, ain't this why we're here? because none of that shit made sense. We done the work, or most of us have. Now this guy got on Netflix to make fun of the flat Earth topic. The people in the scene that was doing some real work. Somehow this guy got promoted to be a part of that Netflix show. It was nothing more than a shit show to make fun of the flat Earth topic. And it did a very good job of it. There's a bunch of people reacting to it, but I couldn't find no footage of it. But with that being said, this guy was all about the AE man. He might not be now. It doesn't matter. We're not following him. Like I said, don't hit that subscribe button. And we're going to get into his latest garbage here in just a few seconds. And before we get into the Jaren's latest update, this image that you see on the screen is from the final experiment. It looks like Jaren's career has been rebirthed. Looks like he's got himself a new TikTok, doing some TikToks, making the rounds, pushing more disinformation than ever before. And yeah, as you see this final experiment, this fake experiment where they went to Antarctica and didn't really go nowhere except for the designated spot. That's where you're only allowed to go there, only allowed to see what you're supposed to see. And that's all they did. And whatever they supposedly seen there changed Jaren's mind. It's a BS. It's a fake story. Yep. Nothing but lies. Before we get into Jaren's latest video, let's check out this love fest from Antarctica. This little trip. Now, Patrick Duffy, this fake preacher, pretty much going to take care of all expenses paid for Jaren. Guess that Netflix movie didn't make no money. Whatever. Let's check this out right here.
Asking us about Jaren. Jaren Campanella runs the popular YouTube channel Jarenism, and he has made a request of me and the final experiment. Now, please refrain from giving him a hard time for making an ask. This ask is not that big of a deal. It's completely reasonable and understandable. So here's what it is. Jaren has asked me to make a public video stating that I will cover all of his expenses for our trip to Antarctica this December. There's going to be additional expenses like flying to South America and food and lodging in South America before the flight to Antarctica. Jaren thinks that these added expenses could get all the way up to $45,000. I don't think they'll go that high, but yes, if they do go that high, Jaren, I will cover all of your expenses. I believe you're in California, and so you probably don't have any winter clothing. That will be required as well. So all expenses will be covered, even if it goes all the way up to $45,000.
See, now this right here is where yours truly comes into play, because Jaren was never the world's famous flat earther on anything. He never had the views. Hell, I've got more views than he does. A few other times. Definitely on lives. I've done thrown away lives that done more views than Jaren. Now this whole BS story that he was some famous flat earther is ridiculous. For a decade, there's only been one number one truther source here on YouTube, and that is Jake DeWake. I am a branch of the truther source. This is why I'm doing this. This is why this has to be said. Now, like I was saying earlier, this guy was never famous at all on the true scene, on the real true scene, on the real flat earth scene. And don't get it twisted. There's different takes to this. There's different people trying to push different narratives. There is only one true truther source. This is a branch of it. Okay? There's people out here pushing AE maps. We're not pushing any kind of maps. I'm not pushing any kind of maps. I'm not here to push you anything. I'm trying to sell you nothing. Except for a view, a like, a subscription. But this is the latest video from this scam artist, this shill that will never ever be forgiven for his disinformation. And yeah, his career had plummeted on YouTube, where I was getting way more views than he ever could. Just me and my Kingpin bowling teammates. was getting more views than Jaren. Blair will too. But yeah, that's why I'm saying this is why I have to do this, because he never would. This guy's a plant. He was sent here, placed here to lie and deceive us all. All right, let's get into this trash right here. All right, before we get to Jaren's newest upload with his guest, James True. Not really sure who this figure is, but as you see on your screen, the symbolism already being involved, that tells the story, at least for me. It should for you as well. But let's get into this garbage from Jaren right here.
Even as a truther, you're like, no, I really want people to do their own research. Yes, but you have to understand that people are on YouTube because they're lazy. They're not on YouTube so that they can get homework assignments. Okay, they want you to tell them either what they believe already or something they don't believe so that they can believe it. So there is no, it's not a matter of like, you know, oh, Jaren said do your own research. Well, I'm going to go follow up on everything he said in today's show. No, it's linguistically a trap. And I'm not saying any flat earthers are using it by design, but it is a trap. So are things that become like mantras. So we all know if you hear something repeated enough, it becomes part of who you are. So this is why Flat Earth has these little sayings that are just stupid. Space is fake. What the fuck do you mean? Space is fake. That's the most that's the most lazy explanation for something the world has ever seen. And Flat Earthers go around and are proud of saying that. And you're like, but hold on. Your space, which is everything in the sky, is fake. And then you act like you're some sort of researcher. To say space is fake it takes no research. So I started noticing all these things, like just lies. And then you start noticing these things being said about the moon landing. And you're like, nobody believes that.
All right, let's pause that right here because he's speaking about space being fake. Now, unfortunately, me or you can't go up there and see exactly what is up there. But I promise you, all that stuff that he is all of a sudden believes, the voyage to space from the BBC, PBS, whatever DVDs he rented or streamed nowadays. You know, those supernovas explode in space, all that bullcrap propaganda. Man, I watched a lot of that stuff too. Took it all in. Man, that narration sure was good. But you know what? It's fake. Everything that you see, it was fake. It was all generated graphics. That's it. CGI. You did not see none of those magical balls in space. It's not the case.
Nobody believes that. Like I say, oh, what do you think? Nixon called the moon from a landline? Excuse me, sir. Nobody in the entire world believes that Nixon called the moon from a landline. So don't say that. Well, but you can see the picture of him. He's on the phone with the landline. Yeah, he called NASA. They patched the call through radio. We've been doing that since the 20s. And you're acting like in 69, we can't patch a fucking phone call through radio. So it's like they went brain dead. We used to, 10 years ago, actually make good comments, good points, good debunkings. And as time went on, people just became so enamored with the being on this anti-establishment team that they just started saying anything, repeating anything, and people all bought it and believe it and repeat it. And you get it all the time. So now I just see it everywhere. And you're like, these poor people, they've actually been convinced that they're waking up. They're the ones who have the truth. Yet really, they're simply now repeating the lies of people who don't have a fucking clue, right? Dave Weiss does not have a fucking clue about the universe. Okay. Now I thought he did. I thought he knew about flat Earth, and we figured out flat Earth, but now he just says things and you're like, dude, he says like, I try to debate these guys, these globe earthers, and they don't even know the circumference of the earth. They don't know how far the sun is. It's like, Dave Weiss, how far is the sun on flat Earth?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't know? So now you're saying that people are dumb for wanting to debate you because they don't know their own model, but you don't know your own model. Yes, okay, you know the globe model, and you're saying there's all these things wrong with it, but he says things like, oh, how could the sun hold Pluto if it can't hold the moon? What? What do you mean it can't hold the moon? Oh, it doesn't have any control over the moon, but it has control over Pluto? It's like, Dave, the moon is in orbit of the sun.
Right.
So
Dave has never replied.
And that's enough of that trash right there. We're not going to promote any of this fake beef between Dave, old dirty Dave, and Jern. We're not going to sit here and go through that whole rigmarole of that fake. It's a fake beef. That's not real at all. That's just the birds of the same feather promoting each other, acting like they're at discrepancies. It's a shit show. It's a scam. It's not real. And Jaren's going to sell the official narratives of NASA now, since he's a globetard. These actors of the world stage.
You guys, I used to be a flat earther, but now I'm not a flat earther. And they're a cult. I used to be in the cult, but now I'm not in that cult no more. And you guys, like, you need to get rid of Dave Weiss' app now. Like, these flat earthers, they're dumb. They need to realize that the earth cannot be flat. Dumb. I was too dumb to figure it out back then. Jake the Asshole was right. Jake the Asshole's way smarter than me. He figures stuff out years before I do. So I'm going to be a dumb fuck for another 5 to 10 years, and then maybe I'll admit Jake was right about the Earth not being a globe. You guys, I'm Jaren. You know, I'm always honest. I thought that the moon landing was fake for longer than I thought the Earth was flat. I was a moon landing denier for like 20 years. You guys, I'm always honest. I'm Jaren. We did go to the moon.
Well, it looks like old Dirty Dave's been promoted again. Looks like he's a guest on another podcast. We'll get into this in just a few seconds because let's talk about old Dirty Dave. That's another one of these industry plans. As soon as you learn that you don't live on a ball and you become awake and you have to do this search and you come across people like Jaren and his friend Dave. Yes, because like I was saying earlier, that's a fake beef. One of those what are they called? Industry beefs, fake rivalries, whatever. Nothing different than what you're seeing right here between those two as I try to find the words to say it. But yep, this OG is a AE map pusher, even has his own tracking app. That's what it is. Don't let him say it's anything else but that. And again, don't subscribe to any of these shills because that is who they are. Now let's get into this video right here.
Thing that you see from space is animated. I got some homework for you. He goes, I want you to find a picture from space of the sun in the visible light spectrum. You find that for me, I'll tell you everything you want to know. Dude, for years I was looking for that photo. Years. Like, and by the way, just so people, I could frame this.
I never even thought about that. There are none.
There are none. And I literally...
You know why? I'll be the Glober. You can't point the camera at the sun in space because there's no air to filter it. You'll ruin the lens.
Right. Now, here's somebody that was AP physics, AP biology. Like, I thought I knew science, right? And, like, so every week I would go in, I try and find photos, and I was so flabbergasted. And I kept asking him, I was like, Mike, like, he's like, the second you find that picture from space in the visible light spectrum of the sun, I'll give you the goods. So after a year and a half, I was like, I can't find it. And then he dropped.
Science.
He goes, everything that you see from space is animated. Every single image you've ever seen is an animation.
Fake. Just fake.
And he goes, you know where my parking lot was, you know, at JPL in Anaheim, California. Do you know where we parked? And by the way, I still didn't get it. He was telling me this in 2009. I was like, where? He's like, we parked in the Disney parking lot.
So on this Where Are We Now series on these shields, well, unfortunately, this one still has a job. one of the richest fake flat earthers that there is. Old Dirty Dave. And yeah, part of it might be from that tracking app. Living it up. But this is part of the reason why I am here as well. Because people like this that sell this AE map is not real. It does not exist. Now, do you need old Dirty Dave to tell you that what you see in space is not real? It's all animation. I've been doing that since day one. The number one truther source has been doing it for 10 years. All because of people like I have been featuring in this show today. Wake up, people. And yes, space was filmed in a Hollywood studio. And JPL Labs is right next to Disneyland. Yes, because it's all filmed in a studio. Universal Studios is like one of the biggest ones in the U.S. So this makes all the sense to me, and it should for you too. And here we go with this guy, Eric Dubay, that likes to wear dresses. Well, defend the trans man. Yep, this guy came onto the scene, stomped on his scene, clearing paths, if you will, on his so-called flat Earth topic, which again, AE map pusher, long debunked, does not exist, not real. Circling suns, that doesn't work on a map. It doesn't matter how you model it up to make it work. It doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. And this guy is one of these people that you can find as soon as you've been awakened and realize you don't live on a ball. You get this guy. You get this guy right here, full of disinformation. And unfortunately, I seen this guy too as soon as I made my way on the scene, I should say. But again, nothing that he said made any sense to me. It wasn't like my vision. It wasn't my truth. So it didn't conform to me. And it looks like a lot of this rhetoric that he preaches got a lot of followers. And we're going to get into that as well. But this known shill has to be dealt with. It's been on this. Look at it. He's still getting views to this day. For what? I am the extension of the number one truth source, Jake the Awake. The real flat Earth scene is here and with him. Not this guy. And we're going to get into that more right here. Now, with Eric Dubay, nothing that he said ever resonated with me at all. None of his 101 proofs that we live on a ball. All those are pretty much common sense at this point. But it looks like this is his latest upload. Eric Dubay versus Jake the Awake. Now, this isn't even a battle. What are we doing here? I didn't even realize this guy still had a channel. I didn't even realize he had this many followers still going. The only reason I say that because he had one of his trolls on the number one truther source on his flat Earth topic, the real flat Earth scene. Let me get that said again, loud and clear. The number one truther source right here on YouTube, Jake the Awake, with the real flat Earth, the live chat, videos, conversations, the extended branch of the true scene with yours truly. This is what it's all about. It's taking down guys like this that's been on this platform for way too long, pushing propaganda and benefiting from it. All right, let's see what he's got to say about Jake the Awake. Now, I'm not going to play this whole video because it's like 26 minutes long, but we're going to see what he's got to say, and I'm going to pause it and probably stop it a few times to give you the official source from the outside looking in for the last decade. Now, I get it. I've only been doing this YouTube thing for a year and a half. But this is what it's all about, because I was one of these people, kind of like you, that might have followed this guy right here, this shill, who has been shill of the month in the lair before. But kind of like Jake, I didn't want to keep talking about these shills because it gives them attention, some undeserved attention they don't need. That's why I kind of like went away from doing the shill of the month. But yeah, I'm not gonna. Like I said, it's 26 minutes long. We're not gonna watch all of it, but we're gonna start at the spot where I guess it's pretty much where Eric sees what Jake's been saying, because he is the number one truther source, and he's just doing his part, just like I am. There might have been these people that, regardless where you found them at, they might have been the person that you needed for your awakening. Turns out that person was wrong, so wrong, and this is why he does what he does. So shout out to Jake for that.
Right when I tuned into Jake the Awake, so did you.
Yeah, did you see me ask? I was gonna bring that up later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw you in the thumbnail, and I came in. I literally popped in, asked him the question, listened, and then X'd out after. I was like, okay, cool. I'm kind of. I hope you don't mind, man. It feels like I don't want to start. I'm not trying to like start beef or like put your name in. I don't know, man. But whatever. He was the one using it as a thumbnail. I just wanted to get his like opinion real quick. But yeah, I asked him like, what do you think of that Eric Duvet? Pretty disappointed with his answer. It started out so on it. He was like, well, he was like the first guy I ever heard whenever I got involved in all this stuff. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, that's similar to my experience. And then he just like immediately switches up where he's like, it seems like it's like an AI channel now. And he's like too high and mighty to like live stream and all that. And I'm like, I don't know about that perspective. I think he just.
See right there, UV. This is personally to you. You are trying to downplay the number one truther source, the number one spot on YouTube. Eric Dubay does not have that. That's why Jake gets that label. That's where he's at. That's why he's in that place. That's why he's in that position. And yes, I mean, that's part of the gimmick, part of the show. These people like his impressions. So they send super chats wanting those impressions. What do you people not understand? He does a live for 3 or 4 hours. What are you doing? This little thing right here is, what, 25 minutes long, 26? And half of it was Jake cracking that whip on you. Like he should. And UV, I get it, buddy. I get it. This was the guy that woke you up. You're trying to be in the same position that I am. It's not going to work. I think you're his boyfriend. I really think you're Eric's boyfriend. I'm not. Maybe I shouldn't go that far. I don't really know. But it seems like some too much trolling. You're trying to get extra eyes and attention where it doesn't need to be. And like I was going to say to you, I get it. That guy might have been the person that woke you up. But he was pushing disinformation. And this is what I was trying to tell you when you would not accept my live invitation. So, I guess you made it to the show. Congratulations. But this is where you need to learn. And where a lot of people that's trying to have their own personal awakening, they don't want to be led down this path of shields. I've been there. That's what it's all about. All right, let's get into this. See what else is got to say.
Like they're retarded or whatever his bottom line was, but yeah,
You had the same thoughts that I did. Yeah, because I live stream and Eric doesn't live stream.
Yeah.
Shill,
Yeah.
clear shill, obvious shill, and
then he like,
look at that thumbnail. That's definitely an AI thumbnail. Shill. So,
And
so
then he
pretty
like,
much, he's a and listen to it. Listen to the way he talks. Listen.
and it's like he presses a random one, and it's just like every Eric debate. It's definitely similar to the one that he first saw and liked in 2015 or whatever. You know,
Exactly.
like it's
All my
like
videos back then were me reading scripts in the same voice, in my reading voice, just like I do.
yeah,
Yeah, and like because I make well-researched, thoughtful, scripted videos, and he doesn't. He just does live. Hey guys, here I am again. Even on his videos that aren't live, his like recorded videos, he doesn't write scripts. He's just like, okay, so they're lazy, you know. He's
yeah.
just off the top of his head, and so just because he does things off the top of his head and I write things out first and then read them. Chill, you know. It's like, what are these criteria you've got? And exactly like you said, the very reasons he liked me in the first place, nothing changed. He's the one that changed. I have
Right.
a
Now, I'm not the one to try to use these f bombs and curse too much because I want YouTube to push this, this kind of content. But man, what the fuck was that about? You don't know why you're a shield? Like seriously? It's the stuff you're pushing, Eric. It's wrong. It's disinformation. You know it. You've been selling it for a decade, if not longer. It's all provably wrong. Anything you model up, it's been wrong. You keep pushing it. You know better. You know better now. You're still pushing it. That's why. That is why. What was this other thing? Now, I don't like to drop that F bomb because I do want YouTube to push this content in the algorithm, well, at least hopefully. But Eric, what the F, man? What in the world are you talking about? You act like you don't know what. It has nothing to do with their thumbnail, or what was the other thing? Oh, the because you write out a script and you talk with it in your reading voice. No, I get all that. I do. But dude, you know what you're pushing is wrong, right? You're not that stupid. This stuff has been provenly wrong for as long as what, over a decade now? I mean, you know what you're doing. This is why I gotta sit here and do my part on the truth scene because of people like you. Gotta dedicate a whole episode of all you shills. Let's get back into this.
things out first and then read them. Chill, you know. It's like, what are these criteria you've got? And exactly like you said, the very reasons he liked me in the first place, nothing changed. He's the one that changed. I have a thread on IFers that shows exactly how it all transpired because I left him nice comments and we were all cool for, he was called the Flat Earth asshole, and then he was
Right.
Jake the asshole, and now he's Jake the awake. And back in his Flat Earth asshole original days, like, yeah, I liked his early videos. They seemed cool. And then suddenly, at one point, he just decided to switch it up. He saw some other channel, I forgot the name of the other channel, but they had some measurement that showed the sun, the compass reading was setting in the southwest or something, and they were too far south for that to be possible. And so the circling sun over the flat earth model therefore is wrong, and Eric Dubay is a
This is hilarious. He doesn't know what changed. Eric is like a head of an occult. He's a cult leader. He's still out here pushing the same disinformation. Who cares if he liked your videos? Like I said, maybe the person that got him in the right direction. And you know what? Maybe it wasn't somebody else. Maybe it was something that he was discussing or having a discussion with in a live chat. Maybe that was the case. It didn't have to be a certain individual per se. And so that's probably what changed. And of course it's going to change because that was wrong when he realized it. It was wrong. I mean, he saved me a bunch of time honestly saved me a much time. Already going through the whole rigmarole of all you shills.
Him going from
No.
similar to you, where it's just like, oh, here's another guy who's doing Flat Earth
Right.
on YouTube. I'm going to reach out, leave nice comments. I left nice comments on all his videos. He would write back nice comments. No, we were fine until, this one thing apparently just, whoa, oh, Eric doesn't accept this thing I think about the sun that is now
Right.
and so ever since then he's the one that changed up, and so now I'm wrong. Everything I've said about flat earth means nothing because he found this one sun
Truther trap.
observation that he says now means that the circling sun model on the flat earth is wrong, and everyone who promotes that model as a shill. That's the line he just decided to run with and has been running with since like 2017, 2018, whenever he decided this. And yeah, that he'll always bring back that, oh, Eric, the circling sun. And what's his answer to it? I don't know. Oh, so because he says, I don't know, he's real, just like I go live, so I'm live right here. Hey, look at my hat. Look at my stupid hat. I'm live. I'm real. See, Eric Dubay, he's not live. Chill.
He was like so boring too. It was like nauseating. I got in and he was doing like he was reading 2 other comments before mine, and he was just doing impressions. He was just doing like this shitty Arnold Schwarzenegger impression where he was, but it was like it was for like so long. It was like 3 minutes of him going yeah, and it's like who's finds that funny still? It's fun for like okay, like a couple seconds.
So what is the deal? Jake admitted he was the bigger man and said he was wrong. Knew that your disinformation was wrong and has been long debunked. You're still wanting to run with it. And all you're trying to give him credit for is one-liners like shill, he's a shill. Dude, he's demolished you numerous times on here. Look it up. You finally got a rebuttal? And again, you're using half of his material on your video. And I'm gonna go, and I gotta come over here and clean this stuff up. Because you're trash. Alright, let's finish up the rest of this rhetoric.
Wants to be a comedian. Like that's his, like if he could be, that's what he'd be doing.
I
just
get that.
as well as a bassist. He likes playing bass. He doesn't want to. Yeah, and he's good at all those things. He should be doing
like
more of those, I think, and less of what I do. Calling me a shill. That'd be nice.
Yeah, that's just like peak retard. I think it's one of those truth traps. You get this theory in your head, and it's like, oh, you don't know freaking this theory, bro. This guy's not a truther. He doesn't know shit, and they get hung up on this one little detail. He was segueing it into it when I basically tuned out yesterday, where he was like, he pulled up your a random video of yours. It was like the biblical cosmology one, and he was like, and this model, this rotating model, he's like, I've debunked this like 1,000 times, like shit. I was like, what are you talking about, man? In terms of like, yeah, you can debunk a model and stuff, but there's literally just so much we don't know. We can't get a good look of what it's like from outside. Like we can only discern from here. And as long as you're on the side of like they lied to us, and you're not trying to push kind of harmful like FEIC shit, you're just like boosting Jaren, and you're like, yeah, Jaren's my friend, man. We go way back, bro. Like I would never talk about it. Like as long as your takes aren't that retarded, that's sad though. Not sad, I guess. He doesn't seem like a very, like, I don't know. He kind of seems like a bit of a douche. I watched like one of his videos where it was way back when he was like in some kind of like backyard patio, like restaurant, just like being an obnoxious flat earther to people, and everyone was like kind of tolerating him or whatever, but there was just this vibe of like, why are you here? And he was like, I don't know, he was like talking about like he just wasn't defending it very well or something, but I guess he was like maybe more of a novice at the time, and he was just excited to discuss the idea. It was still like entertaining, but the way I felt he was representing flat earth, I was like, you're never gonna convince people, you're never even gonna really, you're just kind of being too aggro, which is like funny for me to say, considering like my content is kind of like in your face to some of these people. But
oh, you're much more polite though. He tries to make comedy and out of most everything, and he's
his whole thing is like I'm an asshole.
exactly.
It's kind of a bad, like, you shouldn't, like, you're not an asshole. You can, like, anyone can be a dick about a certain topic, but you shouldn't try to make your identity of, like, here's my.
All right, we're going to move forward a little bit because it sounds like these two are doing nothing but hate watching and love to hate watch. But hey, Jake will accept your view, and so will I, and so will I. That is for sure. But let's get into this last part right here as these two make out with each other as they push this disinformation of Eric Dubé.
And the only news that there is about him says that there was somebody with his name arrested in a bank robbery in Colorado. And
Like, his legal name? Is it, like, pretty
Yeah.
unique?
yeah,
That's crazy.
so
That's
that's
interesting.
the current speculation about what's going on with him. But kick him while he's down. Jake the asshole decides to
Yeah.
throw him under the bus too. I wonder what he thinks about the flat Earth with the circling sun.
Right.
Does he ever go live?
Yeah, this whole, like, that you can clearly see exactly the way his mind works in terms of, like, I go live, they not go live. Me not, like,
AI thumbnail.
yeah,
I know you use AI thumbnail.
yeah. It's like,
Oh, and it's not just the AI. He sees an AI thumbnail, and then he goes to say, therefore, everything is AI.
it's an AI channel.
That's an AI channel. His voice, that sounds like AI. Oh, I don't even have my own channel anymore.
I think it's also like, I don't know, man. You get up, you're in your own head about these things, and you also self isolate and stuff. And like, I can see how those kind of paranoid thoughts creep into your mind or whatever. But it's just weird because I consider you like quite approachable and like you can kind of verify you're like a human being or whatever, judging just by, I don't know. It's obvious to me. But I understand this weirdness and paranoia and everything is AI and we can't trust nobody or whatever. But it's still it's just weird. The way he answered that question, I found was very, I don't know, not honorable. He started out very normal with he was like, yeah, he was like the OG. He was one of the guys I learned from. And then how do you go from that to like, and because of this one take, look at this and look at this, like, it's just like, you kind of demonstrate your own retardation when you do that, which kind of made me like, this guy's kind of a bozo. I've never seen any of his actual like stuff though, but
Yeah, there's
I
not
just
much.
noticed him on my
Not much there. He just goes live most of the time now.
Just
He
like
used to have
personality.
some he made like flat Earth videos back in the day that I complimented him on. Like I don't even remember what they were now. They were so long ago, and it's so different from what he does now.
Right.
But I do remember thinking, "Oh, cool, all right," and I
Yeah, there's like a guy.
genuinely enjoyed what he was doing and genuinely complimented him.
That's funny. As these two contradict themselves over and over again, because they are steadily hate watching this man and knows numerous videos of Jake and try to sell you the story that they've never watched him or they barely watched him or any of that nonsense. And they want to give this illusion like there's only been this one thing. This one thing. There's numerous things. Numerous things. The simple fact that you're still doing this to this day. And you have your BFF over here trying to save face is hilarious. And you're trying to get these people to like switch up and think that you're the real flat earther, dude. You are a shill. Your buddy is shilling for you. Have at each other. It's wrong disinformation. And again, the downplays of this those live streams are the number one truth or source. It's ridiculous. Can't get those numbers, buddy. You can't get those numbers. That's why he is in the spot that he's at. And shout out to Jake for what he does. Again, this is part of the truth scene. I'm just a branch of it. And what else? I don't have. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about this love of Eric from UV. We're going to get into this because I want to show this next clip of you on my buddy show over at Holden Smith, over at Truther6242. And we're going to dive into that right now. because man, you are a shield. I did what I had to do. This is my part. I did my job.
Show him using a sock account. So he literally typed this in as baby you. Right after this account gets blocked, he basically copies and pastes this into a super chat. Yeah, copy and paste. Literally right after that account got banned, there he was. It's the same account, and I'm not falling for it. Same dumb person. All right. So I had to prove that point. Okay, you're here.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yep, I can.
Hi. How are you?
I'm doing good today.
So is this Holden?
Yes, it is.
Okay, cool. Okay, yeah, well, this is even. Okay, well, first of all, I can address this whole little message thing. That's my wife, right? So I was timed out like 5 times, and this is actually, I don't know if this is the first time I super chatted that or the second time I super chatted that, but when you time someone out, it cancels their super chat. So I wanted Jake to respond to this. I paid $10, and then I immediately get timed out, and I was like, babe, post this message for me because I think it's just the truth. Eric's impression of you is clearly a response video. So she did. And then it is what it is. I mean, she's right here. So it's like that whole thing. Anyways, can people on the stream hear us as well? Because I don't hear myself on the stream.
Yeah, no, I can hear it.
Okay.
It should be on.
Power tripping. Everyone is a mod there, and it doesn't say who.
You were snapping at people for eating meat. You were snapping at people for saying Eric's a shill. You were snapping at people for just
like
wanting to eat healthy. I mean,
if someone said Jake is a shill, wouldn't you defend him if he's your friend or you look up to him or whatever? You guys have some kind of, it's the same thing. Eric's my friend, like my personal friend. Like him and I play games every week and stuff. So I'm looking at this from the perspective. It's very entertaining to me because I see all these people's opinions, and I wanted to throw my own in there. And obviously, it's against what everyone thinks. And I mean, it is what it is. I mean, right? Like,
and I do get that, but Eric has proven himself to be a shill many times.
Okay, the biggest thing that I've seen that Jay keeps bringing up is like this sun angles thing, right? First of all,
clearly he's wrong. Eric's clearly wrong.
I think any reasonable flat earther will not agree to a model right now, right? I don't think we have a perfect model of the place that we live. I haven't seen Jake present any model of the way the sun actually works or anything like that. Nobody has a model of this place. We can't go outside of it and look at it from above. So Eric doesn't subscribe to a model. Eric doesn't subscribe to a map. He doesn't say the AE map is 100%. That's exactly how it is. And so the whole topic of like, he's a shill for pushing this model is like, who's pushing a model? Everybody's take is pretty much the same reasonable thing, that it's like, we don't really know what this place looks like.
And you know what? I appreciate what Holden Smith was doing, having you on as a guest, but there's a certain point where you were just not getting it. And let me shout these out real quick. Let me get to this point because I wrote it down right here so I don't forget. Now, you said there's no working model, right? You agree to this? Hell, I've been pushing that ever since the inception of this channel. There is no accurate model of whatever this magical, beautiful, flat earth realm really is. I've never sold any kind of map, never pushed any kind of map, no rising crust earth map, no AE map, no ball map, no map. Again, because we are caged animals, only allowed to see what we're supposed to see. And you said Eric doesn't push a map. You are like, you're retarded. Like, what are you talking about? That's all that man done for, or whatever he is, for the last 10 years. Not only wears a dress. And that's something else I want to touch upon right now. I don't give a shit on any kind of excuse. I'm trying not to use any kind of profanity. But there's no way any real respecting man would wear a dress for any reason. Enough said.
it is a bit different. It could be based on all sorts of things, atmospheric conditions or anything like that. But I mean, to say he's a shill, to me, it's just like bonkers. He's got like 10 years of videos. He's the reason Jake is even here. He's the reason basically any flat earther is here, because either your favorite guy was influenced by him through some way. Plus, he talks about stuff like beyond globe earth, or flat earth rather. Like, Eric was the one for me personally who I learned about like fake dinosaurs from, fake nuclear bombs. Like, nobody was really talking about that. What kind of angle of a shill is he, that he's some kind of zenith sun shill or something? He believes you see the, like, what kind of benefit is that? I don't understand. You guys we're all on the same side here, right? They lied to us. It's definitely not a globe. All the governments are evil. All our world history is a lie. Like, that's what I believe. That's what Eric believes. We talk about this all the time. It's interesting. And I think it's awesome to be able to connect with other people who share that kind of perspective, because we've been lied to our whole lives, right? You talk about this to your family or friends, they think you're crazy, or online you get shadow banned. I know that experience because I've been there, right?
It seems to me and a lot of other people that you just wanted to kiss the arse of Eric Dubay on the behalf of Holden Smith. And if you're so worried about a map, if you flat earthers are so worried about a map, I mean, Jake kind of has one. Go and check it out. I might present it here on this episode as well. But if you think that you need a map, I mean, he's got one. But we are not on the same sides. Let that be known right now. We are not on the same sides. Now it's that time of the show where we segue over to the number one truther here on YouTube, Jake the Awake, with Jake's Take.
Stellarium actually shows you the grid lines of the virtual dome over the observer, basically. So all these stars, I don't think they're in the firmament. That's impossible. Instead, I think that they're localized around us, the observer, and they'll be in different positions depending on where you are on the map. So you'll never get closer to any of the stars. So in any direction you travel, the stars will just start to come up out of the horizon and position themselves differently depending wherever you travel. So if you start heading south, then the stars that are hidden from you beneath the horizon will eventually come up and be visible. And then the stars that were back in the northern hemisphere flat, those stars will be gone, but it's all within your own virtual dome here. So all this stuff can be projected to you in any given area. So this program, Stellarium, I believe that they were able to create it based on real life. So yeah, if you use the program Stellarium, which I have here on screen, and just play around with it, it gives you the option to add these grid lines. So then you can actually see the personal visual dome around this virtual observer. So what I do is I take away the word virtual, and it seems like they built this program off what's actually happening here, except we can't see the grid lines of our virtual dome around us. So we don't see it. We won't know it's there. So you have to figure out that it's there. So through the process of figuring out that the Earth is flat and that the sunrise and sunset angles don't match the model that was rolled out with the flat Earth through these shills, and it doesn't match a globe model either, that's when you start to come to the realization that this place ain't what they told us. And they purposely gave us not only a wrong globe model, but they also gave us a wrong flat model there as well.
Next up, we have this shield on the Where Are They Now series. And this guy likes to promote the AE map as well, and pushes his own personal propaganda. Is this guy even relevant anymore? We will see in just a few seconds. But this is why I'm doing this episode, because this is one of those gatekeepers that unfortunately, you will find when you're coming across this kind of content. But this is where we wash out these people that shouldn't be involved in this real true scene. I am just a branch of the true scene. And thank you guys if you are joining me here on this edition. All right, let's get to this. OG flat earth pushers from the AE map world.
I always wanted to be an astronaut. I'll be a hero, 'cause that's what I thought. But when I turned up and
That's enough. I gotta stop this. That's enough. Jesus. Yep. Well, that was Mark Sargent's latest upload. It's pretty safe to say he is irrelevant. Completely fell off the fake map that he pushes. Bada bing. But looks like he's advertising some fake meetup with a bunch of fake flat earthers. And maybe he'll get like 5 or 6 of them to join. And this video like 190 views. Yeah. Fell off. It's enough of this garbage. Now, I created this show for like-minded people like yourselves, and I need you guys to open your eyes and free your mind, and don't be trapped like this guy right over here. In this world of fakery, there's controlled psyops put in place, and that's what we're going to get into and discuss here today. Thank you guys for being here. Do me a favor, hit that like button, share, comment, subscribe, turn on all your notifications. All that stuff does help the channel grow. Thank you. All right, here we go. Here's another one. Here's another rollout. Once you find out you don't live on a ball, they have this guy right here with a bunch of subscribers, a bunch of views. I'm not sure how he got this blown up at that time, but it was a long time ago when that was a very popular scene. And he did have some very interesting content at that time. But that was at that time. But yeah, this is where I found the person that gave me the kick in the butt, the awakening I need. But even though he might have been contributing at one point in time, he learned his ways. And that's what this is all about. If it wasn't for him, then I wouldn't be here. Jake the Awake wouldn't, if I'm going to replace that and re-say that, if it wasn't for Jake the Awake, I wouldn't be here doing this right here, right now. And he saved me a lot of trouble from not following guys like this. And that's why I'm trying to do this. Save you time. Because you never know if this might get a new eyeball that somebody in the truth community can't get to. But who really knows? But yeah, I'm not going to play any of his content because I think this guy is in prison. I don't know really what's going on with him, but another one that's fell off, irrelevant, so it doesn't really matter.
It can't be penetrated. So there's different levels of heaven. That's why they call it outer space, not space. Within the firmament is space. There is heaven. We fly in the heavens on a plane. But then there's a higher heaven. That's why God, the Heavenly Father, is called the Most High. Because there's levels to this.
Yeah, it's certainly.
So you didn't know you were.
Now, I'm not here to push any kind of disinformation because we are living in crazy times here in 2026 as it's going to get weirder and wilder as this time keeps going by faster and faster. At least that's the case to me and several other people. Now, why does this feel like that's the case? Is it because we're getting older? Maybe because of CERN? Some fake gravity forces? Some black holes in space? Whatever the case may be, this is my brand of truth that I can present to you. I'm not trying to convince you otherwise. All right, next up, we got to deal with this shill, the fruitiest flat earther, Tyler Hansen. All right, here he goes. He's going to promote these crop circles. Now, yours truly does not believe in these little green or gray or whatever color men from floaty magic land that's going to fly down here and help improve mankind in some sort of fashion, or whatever that narrative may be that I don't believe. And especially with these crop circles, these have been faked for the longest. Nothing more than a hoax. And yeah, this is very easily faked nowadays. But this guy believes it. This guy believes in all these shapeshifters as well. Everyone is a shapeshifter for this guy. But we'll get into this newest upload from the fruitiest flat earther.
Be actual footage of crop circles being made. And then I want to share with you footage that I took as I was asking to see things in the sky when I was waking up.
Here I'm standing at Oliver's Castle at precisely the same spot as John Whaley was standing in August 1996, when he supposedly, for the first time in history, managed to film the creation of a crop circle. That the crop circle was not here on the previous day but had appeared on the following morning was a fact. That John Whaley was here at dawn could be confirmed by a military patrol that happened to be jogging by at the time. John went to the local pub later that same day and showed his film to the people there. Even so, many believe that he had managed to manipulate the film with computer animation in the meantime, something that computer animation experts doubt. To overlay a perfect animation over a handheld, unstable film would need several days of work using the computer equipment of that time. Even today, the film is still a great mystery, and John has gone underground due to the intense interest that his film created.
Now, before I get into my experience talking about these little balls of light that I captured on film, I want to show you something else from someone I don't trust, someone I think pushes lies, but it's interesting nonetheless. This is Dr. Stephen Greer, and while I have strong opinions of him, just listen.
The Boogosphere, it is an extraterrestrial object. We've done the analysis on it. It is electrogravitic anti-gravity. It is not a hoax. There are now 10 different videos from 10 different spheres flying in this region in South America. It has interesting inscriptions which have been analyzed to be a type of Proto-Sanskrit.
Now, before I share with you the footage I captured, you need to know that until the past couple of years, I was just a high school PE teacher. There's me doing handstands with my strength and conditioning students. Here's me with a discus athlete going to state and our school mascot. And well, I was shown something about stars, in fact, that sent me on a truth-seeking mission, and up until that point...
Yes, we have another one of these shills that like to push disinformation. I mean, I've done this as a kid. You can easily do this. All you gotta do is find these little marks right here, walk down this path, and you can sit here and do all these little circles. And next we're gonna get into this, what he is talking about, stars and the Boogosphere. You guys heard of this? Now, I've had my own encounter with, I'm not going to say that's what it was, because that is obviously some kind of drone from the government. Nothing more than a hoax itself to sell the propaganda of this fake disclosure along with these crop circles and this shieldtard doing the work. But, all right, so enough of that. Let's move on to this next little part about the stars, because, yep, the stars that we see are not exactly what NASA says, or any of these prestigious scientists. I want to say these things are some kind of drone spheres from the government, but I did have my own personal experience with whatever these orbs are in the sky. Mine was a little bit different. It did happen. It's nothing more than like, I don't know how to explain this paranormal phenomenon. All it is, I mean, I really thought this was like a mini moon, a really big lighting source that was crashing down to the ground, and it went right in front of the car, and I could see, like, I had plenty of time, like 30, 40 yards. I had plenty of time to see where I could go to, like, miss this object that was flying out of the sky. Now, this thing that happened, it didn't drop out of the sky, it didn't fall, it just turned off, like a light in the sky just turned off. This little orb, just like a light switch, boop, turned off. Didn't fall out of nowhere and just turned off. Craziest thing I've ever seen, and still hard to explain and wrap my mind around it today. So, I mean, there are these weird phenomenons that do happen on this magical, beautiful flat Earth realm. Now let's get back to this trash from this guy.
Coming from outside of the ice wall, which I'm not even sure exists. I don't know, but they sure as heck seem to be able to read my thoughts and feel and hear me calling for them. Because again, I didn't do it out loud. And I've never experienced anything like this in my life until I was literally calling for this. And what I saw on that star Sirius that woke me up out of the Matrix, well, it was dogs. And Sirius just happens to be the dog star. That's in Sirius. And so is that, and that's my dog. And well, that's a cloud up there, but that was also something I saw in my awakening process. I asked to see if my dog that died was okay, and then I saw him in the clouds the next day. And I spent an hour talking about this in my latest podcast episode. And I'm whispering because these platforms don't like when you advertise Spotify. So go check out the full hour episode where I also talk about how there's a million different synchronicities with me and this movie that just happens to star Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves, who is waking up everybody out of the Matrix, in the Matrix, and just so happens to be in the band called Dog Star. Check out the podcast. And of course, all this for entertainment purposes. I don't really think there's a bunch of flying angelic or Camp of the Saints messengers trying to help us realize that we're in a great time of deception. Oh, speaking of deception, did you ever see the crop circle that was made that was translated mathematically to say, "We oppose deception"? Entertainment only, I'm sure those are done by just people pulling pranks. Entertainment only. Heavy.
Yep, nothing more than a deception to deceive you. Just a hoax, a simple prank that's been long proven long ago. But this guy's gonna promote it. Keep up the deception. While Mr. Icewall all of a sudden doesn't believe in an ice wall. Did you guys hear that? Do I need to rewind that so you guys can hear that? Mr. Icewall. All right. And don't subscribe to this guy or check out this podcast. I'm trying to promote something. All right, that's enough of this fruitiest flat earther. What? Now this next clip right here comes in from the Russian moon landing. Maybe some of you guys maybe have never seen this. This might be the first time you guys are checking this out. But apparently the Russian astronauts have faked space as well. Yep, so let's get into this right here. Check this out. This comes from you from the AP.
A happy landing for Russia's unmanned Luna 17 spacecraft and a big step forward for Soviet scientists in Lenin's Jubilee year. The first self-propelled vehicle ever to drive across the lunar landscape is controlled from Earth. It's called Lunokhod 1, and here's how this extraordinary Heath Robinson 8-wheeler was rolled down from the spacecraft onto the Sea of Rains. The size of the vehicle hasn't been disclosed, but it's been sending back television pictures and carries, among other equipment, a laser reflector. It's been used to survey the moon's surface. So now Soviet space experts have proved their theory that space exploration can be carried out by automatic equipment without risking the lives of astronauts. To Russia, Lunokhod is worth its weight in moon dust.
Hey you right there. You on the couch, or maybe you're in the car, or maybe you're viewing from the TV, whatever the case may be. It even says you're watching from your computer, your tablet. All that stuff is really good to see. But do me a huge favor, hit that like button, share, comment, and subscribe. All that stuff really does help the channel grow. Thank you. Yes, even India went to the moon too. Maybe this will convince you.
We can see the Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, who is here to encourage us, and he is critically looking at the visuals.
जी हाँ, आप अपनी स्क्रीन पे देख सकते हैं कि हम लैंडर मॉड्यूल
People are applauding. Let us all wait to hear from the Secretary Department of Space and Chairman ISRO, Shri S. Somnath.
Land on the moon, we land on the moon. Land on the moon, we land on the moon. Land on the moon, we land on the moon. LaFleur, where'd you go?
LaFleur, you're clear for takeoff. Oh shit! Houston! Houston, we have a problem here. Massive problem. Where is the curvature? We seem to be flying at the wrong angles. We're always flying at the right angle. Where is the curvature? We're supposed to be descending on the moon. What is going on? The stars, they're brilliant. They're beautiful. But the Earth is flat. Are you convinced by NASA? NASA lies.
Are you convinced? Is this real to you? The CGI, AI, computer generated images? Maybe these astronauts are really in this metal tin can in the thermosphere? If you really believe that official narrative, maybe these balls in space. Maybe you're convinced by all these animations, these cartoon balls. You decide.
Making her debut. There she is. Baby Daylin. Isn't she beautiful? Little miracle. Especially at my age. You really appreciate it. That's for sure. But there she is. And thank you all for all your kind words and support.
Of meteors per hour and possibly even the northern lights. This could all stack up around August 12th. So check this out. Before sunrise, 6 planets will be spread across the morning sky. We've got Mercury, Jupiter, Mars, Uranus, Saturn, and Neptune. Mars and Saturn should be easiest to spot. Mercury and Jupiter will be low near the horizon. Uranus needs binoculars, and can't wait for the comments on that one. And Neptune will need a telescope. Then, later that day, a total solar eclipse will cross parts of Greenland, Iceland, and northern Spain. Other areas will only see it partially, so check your location on that. And then, after dark, the Perseid meteor shower, it's going to peak. And this is going to happen under a near-perfect new moon, and that means darker skies and a better chance to catch dozens of meteors per hour. And that's if weather and light pollution cooperates.
And here I thought we were supposed to lose gravity. And now we get all these other official narratives.
Current forecasting has one of them potentially hitting the Earth on August 12th. If conditions line up and geomagnetic storms develop, high latitude auroras could.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Didn't happen.
Earth is not going to lose gravity on August the 12th, but the real story is extremely interesting. A viral rumor claims that Earth is going to temporarily lose gravity here on August the 12th because of something called Project Anchor. There is no credible scientific evidence that is supporting this claim. Gravity comes from our planet's mass, and a solar eclipse or a planetary lineup can't simply just switch it off. August 12th really does bring a total solar eclipse. It also brings a 6-planet morning lineup and a new moon in Leo and the Perseid meteor shower around the same exact time. The truth is already extraordinary, but we do not need to invert physics just to make it viral.
Well, it came and it went. On August 12th, for 7 seconds, we did not lose gravity. None of us floated away to magic floaty land. It did not happen. Now they gotta pump out these stories about these solar eclipse and these balls in space, these planets, these magical worlds that you're never gonna see. Yep. Always gotta sell something else. Time to wake up. As I'm trying to get this channel monetized, it's only gonna get harder on creators like myself. It's going to take you, the viewers, to push this channel forward by hitting that like button, share, comment, and subscribe. Turn on all your notifications. I have to say this. It's part of YouTube, but there's things that have to be done. If you do that, I really would appreciate it. Thank you. Now, as I do my part here on the true scene, as the world's famous flat earther, I try to show these other videos of what these other content creators might be saying about the flat earth topic and their beliefs. And yeah, I've featured this fellow quite a few times on the show. I guess time will tell and see if what this fellow right here turns out to be. But he always has informative stuff to watch. Great information. So let's get to this newest one right now.
Our blue sky looks like. Pretty similar. And what's even crazier is that some Italian was eating pasta in Sierra Leone, West Africa, and he found something called the sky stone, which I believe was made of about 77% oxygen and then some like calcium and carbon, a few other minerals and stuff. But it was mainly oxygen, and at room temperature, it was a stone, a solid object. This guy found this in 1990, and a lot of people are claiming that, oh, you know, aliens came here and it's an alien stone and all this stupid stuff, when honestly, guys, it's a piece of the firmament found in West Africa. And what's really weird to me is that the sky has to be blue for a reason. And if you think about it, if the sun's light is reaching the moon, and then the moon is reflecting the sun's light at nighttime, then all of the sky should be blue, because that means the light should be traveling to the moon and then traveling to us. But all you see is the moon giving off its own light. But I made this video entirely for entertainment purposes.
And that video came in from this TikTok user right here, Corporate Tarzan, as I extended the hand to Corporate Tarzan because I want to see what kind of his ideas are. If he is really on his own personal pursuit of the truth, I guess time will only tell.
Remember that video that China released of the Tianzhou 9 scraping upon the firmament? I mean, guys, it's so unbelievably obvious. They put it on mainstream television that the rockets don't actually go straight up. They always follow an arched trajectory. And then once they reach a certain level in the atmosphere, they tend to scrape something. I mean, this is in like every single rocket video ever. If you actually have a full video of it launching and then going up into the upper atmosphere. Now let's watch this one. This is probably like 37,000 feet in the air. I'm assuming he's in an aircraft. Well, look at that. It's starting to follow an arched trajectory. Man, I wonder why. Probably because no one can go past the Van Allen belts. And apparently there's 7 layers of the Van Allen belts. You know, like the 7 layers of the firmament? So in the globe model, it's the Van Allen belts. But on the flat Earth model, the true Earth model, it's the firmament, the layers of the firmament. The rocket cannot go past it. Which is why Elon Musk has to make all of his fancy rocket landing videos from AI. Just pay attention to them. The lighting's off, it looks like Ratchet and Clank, and all of the videos and pictures of rockets actually in outer space are CGI. But this video was for entertainment purposes.
I am the world's famous flat earther. Not all flat earthers are created equally. I have no map to push or sell to you guys. Only thing I need you to do is push that like button, share, comment, subscribe, turn on all your notifications. All this stuff does help the channel grow. Thank you. What is your earliest childhood memory of school? Because this right here, as you're seeing on your screen, it's pretty similar to mine. When you first walk into that school or your classroom, see the desk, maybe the teacher's desk, definitely the children's desk, the green chalkboard, the map, and of course, that blue ball sitting right there and planted right there for you to see early on. The indoctrination begins at adolescence.
A big secret. People are smart. They can handle it.
A person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it. 1,500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was the center of the universe. 500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was flat, and 15 minutes ago, you knew that people were alone on this planet.
Imagine what you'll know tomorrow. Makes sense. You decide. Yeah, if you haven't heard this story, yeah, please make it make sense. Emergency landing. Yeah. This is just ironic, right? The official narrative with the official numbers. When you see these numbers right here, that's the powers that be flexing their muscles, showing their will. Yikes. Hey, you science guy. Why is it I can zoom it in back into play? Did it go over the horizon? You decide. Let's not forget the images that NASA keeps pumping out to us. These cartoon balls in space. Who really still believes this official narrative?
If you had packed your cell phone and you said, which one?
When? Skylar, I was medicated. I mean, I could have said the world was flat.
And head over to the #1 truther source right here on YouTube, Jake the Awake, with his weekly live stream. Push him to 100K in 2026. Subscribe. We officially come to the end of this week's episode. What do you guys think? As I'm closing out, I hope that sometime in your life you have your own personal awakening. Try to find out what this place is. Or you think we live in a ball spinning around at incredible speeds. Maybe it's CGI balls that you're into. Or convinced by AI videos. Maybe we're all just trapped here in the Matrix. What is this beautiful, magical, flat earth realm? I don't know, but that's what this show is all about. Please come back here next week as we try to figure all this stuff out. Peace out, guys. Much love.
See you next week.
And he took a picture.